Week 2 is in the books with the second night of Disney Week, dedicating the villains of Disney. How's it going, guys? It's Eric Sharkey, aka Dance with Stars Superfan, back with another video, and we are going to recap everything that happened during Villains Night last night. And we have our first double elimination of the season, and one of the Muppets made a cameo appearance as well. They were giving out scores to the couples, but unfortunately, those do not count. I'm going to do the same thing I did last episode, but I'm also going to reveal the villains in each dance they did with the song and the movie, because this night is inspired by the Disney villains. And if you guys like this video, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below and smash that like button and turn on that post notification bell to keep up to date on my next Dancing with the Stars content video. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. First up is Jimmy and Emma dancing jazz to Bad Guy from Peter Pan, inspired by Captain Hook. That dance was a great way to kick off Villains Night. All the 4 judges praised them for their dance, and the lifts, the moves, and everything was awesome. Hey, Jimmy is starting to come out of his shell. So Judge Guzar carrying on a 9, Len an 8, Derek a 9, Bruno a 9, giving them a score 35 out of 40, which gives them a 2-night total of 67 out of 80. Next up is Cody and Cheryl dancing the Viennese Waltz to Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, which is of course inspired by Gaston. I did notice he had some problems with his footwork as well as his balance, but Carrie Ann and the judges didn't mind because they didn't have a lot of rehearsal time. But the judges gave them credit for their effort with the 2 dances with less rehearsal time. This time, they gave him some slack. I am actually so proud of both Cody and Cheryl with their dance all together. So Judge Guzar carrying an 8, Len a 7, Derek an 8, Bruno an 8, giving them a score 31 out of 40, which gives them a 2-night total of 58 out of 80. Next up is Melanie C. and Gleb dancing the Viennese Waltz to Once Upon a Dream from Maleficent, which is of course inspired by Maleficent. I felt like their Viennese Waltz was more powerful than I expected because it was smooth and elegant at the same time. Carrie Ann told her that this was her best dance so far, and I agree with her as well. And Judge Guzar carrying on a 9, Len an 8, Derek a 9, Bruno a 9, giving them a score 35 out of 40, which gives them a 2-night total of 66 out of 80. Next up is JoJo and Jenna dancing the Paso Doble to Ways to be Wicked from Descendants 2, which is of course inspired by Mal. Carrie Ann felt like this wasn't her best dance because it was hectic, but Len, Derek, and Bruno liked it a lot. I liked it because they attacked the dance very well, and it was a very powerful Paso Doble in my mind. So Judge Guzar carrying on an 8, Len a 9, Derek a 9, Bruno a 9, giving them a score 35 out of 40, which gives them a 2-night total of 70 out of 80. Next up is Kenya and Brandon dancing the Viennese Waltz to Dangerous Woman by Ariana Grande. This villain is inspired by the Evil Queen from Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. The judges noticed they had problems with the Viennese Waltz, but Carrie Ann felt like this was her best dance so far. But she had to take a point off because she noticed that Kenya's foot was off the ground as they did the spin. Despite the issues, it was still another great dance from her. So Judge Guzar carrying on a 7, Len a 7, Derek an 8, Bruno an 8, giving them a score 30 out of 40, which gives them a 2-night total of 59 out of 80. Next up is Iman and Daniela dancing the Argentine tango to Arabian Nights from Aladdin, inspired by Jafar. During halfway through the dance, they did the most amazing lift I have ever seen. As a matter of fact, I liked the lifts in that routine, by the way. The moves they did during the Argentine tango were phenomenal. Iman may be really tall, but hey, he is by far the most surprising contestant this season so far. So the Judges Guzar carrying on a 9, Len a 7, Derek a 9, Bruno a 9, giving them a score 33 out of 40, which gives them a 2-night total of 63 out of 80. Next up is Malor and Artem dancing jazz to Mother Knows Best from Tangled, inspired by Mother Gothel. Malor is also one of the most surprising contestants this season so far as well. Not to mention, she sang the song as well. Carrie Ann felt like it was a little bit safe, but it didn't matter to her whatsoever. So Judge Guzar carrying on a 9, a 10 from Len, Derek a 9, Bruno a 9, giving them a score 37 out of 40, which gives them a 2-night total of 73 out of 80, which means Malor and Artem got the first 10 of the season. Next up is The Miz and Whitney dancing the Argentine tango to Be Prepared from The Lion King, inspired by Scar. Carrie Ann said the men are on fire tonight, but Bruno noticed there were a couple of stumbles. I gotta say, The Miz got himself another great dance because everything about it was way beyond awesome. So judges scores are Carrie Ann a 9, Len an 8, Derek a 9, Bruno an 8, giving them a score 34 out of 40, which gives them a 2-night total of 65 out of 80. Next up is Brian and Sharna dancing the Paso Doble to He's a Pirate from the Pirates in the Caribbean, inspired by Captain Hector Barbosa. The judges mentioned that he had some problems with his arms, but the judges did praise him for their effort, by the way. It was one of his good dances, but not his best. So judges scores are Carrie Ann a 7, Len a 6, Derek a 7, Bruno a 7, giving them a score 27 out of 40, which gives them a 2-night total of 52 out of 80. Next up is Matt and Lindsay dancing the Paso Doble to Jungle from the Jungle Book, inspired by Ka'a. Derek noticed his steps were small, and they have to be big because they have to be big in a Paso Doble. But in my mind, it was a good Paso Doble, and despite some of the issues, the judges didn't seem to mind. So judges scores are Carrie Ann an 8, Len a 7, Derek an 8, Bruno an 8, giving them a score 31 out of 40, which gives them a 2-night total of 57 out of 80. Next up is Olivia and Val dancing jazz to Remember Me from Coco, inspired by Ernesto de la Cruz. Carrie Ann also felt like she played it safe, but the other 3 judges liked it more than her. But they did like her acting skills during the dance routine. In my eyes, I liked the routine as well, even though they did rush a tiny bit in the beginning. Also, her sister Bella made an appearance during the rehearsal package when they went to Disneyland. So judges scores are Carrie Ann an 8, Len a 9, Derek a 9, Bruno a 9, giving them a score 35 out of 40, which gives them a 2-night total of 70 out of 80. Next up is Suni and Sasha dancing the Viennese Waltz to I Put a Spell on You from Hocus Pocus, inspired by Winifred Weenie Sanderson. Fun fact, this is one of her favorite movies, especially on Halloween. Carrie Ann and Derek felt like the performance from her started to come out of her shell, which is awesome, but Len wants her to work on her hold a bit more. So judges scores are Carrie Ann a 9, Len an 8, Derek a 9, Bruno a 9, giving them a score 35 out of 40, which gives them a 2-night total of 68 out of 80. Last up is Amanda and Alan dancing the Paso Doble to Call Me Carilla from Carilla, which of course is inspired by Cruella de Vil. The one problem that Len had, she was looking at him. Also, Bruno noticed the misstep just like Len mentioned. Despite the issues, I call this one the best Paso Doble of that night. So judges scores are, there were all 9s from the judges, giving them a score 36 out of 40, which gives them a 2-night total of 68 out of 80. Now let's take a look at the leaderboard from last night and both nights as well. At the top of the leaderboard are Melora and Artem with 37 points, Amanda and Alan with 36 points, a 5-way tie with 35 points, Jimmy and Emma, Jojo and Jenna, Melanie C and Gleb, Olivia and Val, and Suni and Sasha. The Miz and Whitney with 34 points, Iman and Daniela with 33 points, a 2-way tie with 31 points, Cody and Cheryl, and Matt and Lindsay, Kenya and Brandon with 30 points, and at the bottom are Brian and Sharna with 27 points. Adding up to both nights, their scores are Melora and Artem at the top with 73 points, a 2-way tie for second with 70 points, Jojo and Jenna, and Olivia and Val. A 2-way tie with 68 points, Amanda and Alan, and Suni and Sasha. Jimmy and Emma with 67 points, Melanie C and Gleb with 66 points, The Miz and Whitney with 65 points, Iman and Daniela with 63 points, Kenya and Brandon with 59 points, Cody and Cheryl with 58 points, Matt and Lindsay with 57 points, and at the bottom are Brian and Sharna with 52 points. Since everyone did a really good job last night, it was really hard for me to choose who was the best of that night. But after a while of thinking about it, I figured it out. Now let's reveal the couples who are safe and the 3 couples who are in jeopardy. The couples who are safe are Cody and Cheryl, Melora and Artem, Iman and Daniela, The Miz and Whitney, Suni and Sasha, Jimmy and Emma, Amanda and Alan, Jojo and Jenna, Olivia and Val, and Melanie C and Gleb. That means Brian and Sharna, Kenya and Brandon, and Matt and Lindsay are the bottom 3. Brian and Sharna are the first eliminated right away just because they were at the very bottom with the lowest combined total of judges' scores and the votes from both nights, so it all came down to Kenya and Brandon and Matt and Lindsay with the judges save. Bruno votes to save Matt and Lindsay, Derek votes to save Kenya and Brandon, Carrie Ann votes to save Matt and Lindsay, so it gave Len the opportunity to make the final decision on who stays or goes home. he votes to save Kenya and Brandon. I gotta say, it was kind of an okay decision for most fans, and most of them were not too happy with his decision. When Len made the decision to save her, her reaction says it all. I would have loved to see Matt and Lindsay grow in the competition, and I would have liked to see him eliminated next week or the week after that, but it is what it is. Also, I did appreciate Brian going out there dancing and giving it his all. Also, you want to know who convinced him to do the show when he got the call? It is Sharna, as a matter of fact. Even though he wasn't the best, he still wasn't that bad in my book. So next week will be Grease Night. This night will be dedicated to the musical Grease with your favorite songs from that musical. After that, Halloween Night returns, but this year they're calling it Horror Night, which is kind of a cool name as a matter of fact. So let me know in the comments down below on what do you guys think of that double elimination last night. Do you guys agree or disagree with the judge's decision? And also, tell me your favorite dances of that night as well, because in my mind, those dances were better than the first night, even though I liked them both as well. So anyways, that'll do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Eric Sharkey, aka Dance with a Star Superfan. Catch you next time.